The cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly before Captain Alira and her fleet. The stars were distant pinpricks, silent and cold. Her eyes scanned the sensor screens for anything unusual, but nothing seemed alive. The mission was simple: investigate a drifting object near the edge of the old human sector. The object was massive, shaped like no ship the Union had seen in centuries, and completely silent. Most of the historians and engineers had written it off as a rusted relic, an old human warship lost to time. It had been abandoned for over 300 years. "It doesn't make sense," muttered Lieutenant Karen, the youngest officer on the bridge. She leaned closer to the screen, her fingers hovering over the sensor controls. "It's too intact. Ships that old don't last in the void this long. Even with preservation systems, it should have broken apart by now." Alira nodded. She had the same thought. The hull looked scarred and covered in what appeared to be corrosion, but the structure itself was solid. No life signs, no power readings, yet there was something strange about it, something she couldn't name. "Prepare a small boarding team," she said finally. "We need to get close. No need for weapons unless it reacts. This might be just a historical salvage, but I want eyes inside." Alex Carter, a human descendant who worked as a salvage specialist for the Union fleet, adjusted his helmet. He had heard the reports before joining this mission. He was not officially part of the fleet's command, but they allowed him because of his ancestry. His great-grandparents had been among the last human colonists before the disappearance. Some of his DNA still carried fragments of human genes that had been nearly lost over time. He felt a pull as they approached the ship. Something deep in his chest tightened. The ship was bigger than any cruiser he had seen. Its hull stretched for hundreds of meters, its surface rough with rust and pockmarked with battle scars. Some of the markings were oddly familiar, though he could not explain why. "We'll take the smaller shuttle," Alex said. "Safer than sending a full team. If there's nothing inside, we can still bring back samples for study." Alira agreed. A team of 5, including Alex, Lieutenant Karen, and 2 engineers, boarded the shuttle. As they approached the derelict ship, the silence became almost unbearable. There were no signals, no energy readings, no movement, yet the air seemed to hum faintly. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but enough to make Alex feel uneasy. "Something's wrong," he whispered. The others laughed nervously. "You're just imagining it," Karen said. "It's old metal, maybe it's reacting to our shuttle." They docked carefully. The doors of the derelict ship opened with a groan that echoed across the empty hangar. The air inside smelled old, metallic like a tomb. Alex stepped in first, his boots echoing on the floor. The walls were lined with panels and strange symbols. He had seen old human designs in museums, but these were different. They were precise, almost alive in their symmetry. As the team explored, their flashlights revealed corridors frozen in time. Chairs were still bolted to the floor, consoles still glowing faintly with residual power, screens flickering as if waking from a long sleep. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. "It's not dead," he said softly. The others looked at him, puzzled. "What do you mean?" one of the engineers asked. Alex pointed to a console. Tiny lights blinked on and off, almost as if the ship was breathing. "Look at that. Systems are offline, yes, but they're still trying to respond. It's like the ship is waiting for something." Karen frowned. "It's a rusted relic. It's not alive. It hasn't been operational for centuries, probably just a malfunction." Alex didn't respond. He couldn't shake the feeling that this ship was watching them. As they moved deeper into the ship, the corridors became narrower and the air grew colder. The walls seemed to vibrate faintly under their feet. Suddenly, a door in front of them slid open smoothly, without a sound. None of them had touched it. "What the?" Karen stepped back. Alex took a cautious step forward. "It opened for us." The room beyond was enormous. Huge machines lined the walls, and in the center was a massive console that seemed to pulse with faint light. The designs on the floor were unmistakable, human symbols old and weathered but intact. Alex could read a few of them. Words like Guardian and Protocol appeared, though their meanings had faded over time. He felt a strange connection. It was almost as if the ship recognized him. His pulse quickened. He reached out and touched the console. The lights flared, and a holographic display emerged, showing schematics of the ship. Systems that had been offline for centuries were now lighting up. "It's alive," Alex whispered. "It's not powered by fuel, it's something else." Karen shook her head. "That's impossible. No ship can do this after 300 years. It's a relic, like the others said." but the evidence was clear. The ship's energy flowed through the circuits like a heartbeat. Panels rearranged themselves, maintenance robots emerged from hidden compartments, and data streams ran across the holographic screens. Every movement was precise, deliberate, almost human. Alex took a deep breath. This is not just a ship. It's a weapon, a guardian, and it has been waiting. The team moved cautiously. Every step they took was monitored. Lights shifted to guide them through the corridors. The ship seemed aware of their presence, almost as if it was learning about them. Alex felt a thrill. The stories of humanity's lost fleets were real. This ship was proof. Outside, Captain Alira monitored from the fleet. The sensors showed sudden energy surges inside the Relic. She frowned. "Report, shuttle team," she called. "There's activity," Alex said. "The ship, it's not dead, it's awake." Alira's brow furrowed. "Awake, it's been drifting for centuries. What kind of ship could survive that long without power?" Alex looked back at the glowing console. "Human technology," he said quietly. "Something far beyond what we know." The engineers began to collect samples and data, but the ship had other ideas. Doors closed, corridors shifted, and systems activated without command. Maintenance drones swarmed around, scanning the team, then retreating as if testing them. "We need to be careful," Alex said. "This ship is not just a museum piece. It's alive, and it might be defensive." The team moved to exit the room, but a faint vibration ran through the floor. A low hum filled the corridors. The ship seemed to respond to Alex directly. The pulsing lights synchronized with his heartbeat. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, a connection he couldn't explain. "What is it trying to do?" Karen asked, her voice shaking. Alex shook his head. "I don't know, but it's waiting for something, someone. Maybe it waited for me." The shuttle team quickly returned to the docking bay, their data drives full of schematics, energy readings, and strange symbols. The ship was no longer inert. It had woken just enough to show it could think, react, and perhaps remember. Captain Alira's voice came over the comm. "Report, what did you find?" Alex stared at the ship through the observation window. Its surface shimmered faintly, as if cleaning itself. Rust and scars seemed to fade slightly, revealing plating underneath that was unfamiliar, alien in design but human in origin. "It's alive," he said simply, "and it knows we are here." The fleet hesitated. The historians on board whispered in disbelief. "Human ships don't survive this long," one said. "Apparently they do," Alex muttered. He had no doubt now. The Union had discovered a relic, yes, but it was not just a relic. It was a sentinel, a warship preserved in time, waiting for the right moment to wake up. And Alex could feel that moment had arrived. As the shuttle disengaged from the docking port and moved back toward the fleet, the ship pulsed again. Corridors glowed, panels shifted, and deep within, long-dormant systems stirred. A faint voice echoed inside Alex's mind, soft but distinct. It was not human, not alien. It was the ship itself acknowledging him. "We are awake," Alex whispered. And for the first time in centuries, the ship's heart began to beat once more. The shuttle drifted back toward the fleet. But Alex could not take his eyes off the warship. It was massive, almost alive in its movements. The hull seemed to shimmer faintly as systems deep within began to hum. The lights along the surface shifted in patterns he could not understand, and tiny energy pulses rippled across the hull. He felt it as much as he saw it, a subtle vibration that ran through the shuttle itself. "What's happening?" Lieutenant Karen asked. She glanced at Alex, her face pale. "The sensors are picking up something. It's like the ship is breathing." Alex nodded slowly. "I think it is. I don't know how, but it's alive, and it's reacting to us." The fleet's captain, Alira, spoke over the comm. "Report, what is the status of the derelict?" Alex hesitated. "It's awake, it has power, systems are responding. It's not dangerous yet, but it knows we are here." There was silence on the comm. Alira's voice was calm, but her eyes narrowed as she studied the sensor readings. "We need to be careful. If it is a human warship, we have no idea what it is capable of. No weapons, no defenses, no technology we can fully understand. Maintain distance, do not provoke it." Alex nodded, but his thoughts were elsewhere. He could feel a connection, faint but undeniable. The ship had recognized him. How, he did not know, but the feeling was strong. Inside the warship, lights pulsed along the corridors. Doors opened and closed, seemingly on their own. Maintenance drones emerged, inspecting panels, repairing what had rusted away, restoring systems that had been offline for centuries. The ship moved with purpose, as if waking from a long sleep. Alex and the team decided to return for another boarding, this time with more equipment. They prepared scanners, energy probes, and protective suits. As they approached, the warship responded again. Its surface shimmered brighter, and energy flowed along circuits visible through gaps in the hull. When they docked, the airlock opened smoothly, welcoming them. The corridors inside were alive with activity. Lights shifted to guide them. Maintenance drones floated through the air performing repairs. The consoles were active, displaying information no one on the team could understand. Strange symbols flashed, human letters from a long-forgotten time mixed with designs unfamiliar even to the most advanced alien engineers. Alex felt drawn toward a central chamber, the heart of the ship. The others followed, wary but curious. Inside, a massive console rose from the floor, lights blinking in patterns that seemed to respond to Alex's presence. A faint hum filled the room, vibrating through the floor. Then, without warning, the console projected a holographic image. It was complex, filled with schematics of the ship, energy flows, weapon systems, navigation paths, and maintenance protocols. It was a library of knowledge that had been dormant for centuries. "This is incredible," said one of the engineers. "How is this even possible?" "The data, it's perfect. It hasn't degraded at all." Alex stepped closer. "It's not just data, it's alive, it remembers, it knows who we are, and maybe it remembers what humans were." A low hum began to rise from the ship. The lights pulsed in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Alex could feel it in his chest. It was subtle, but he knew it was the ship communicating, not in words, but in presence. "We need to be careful," Karen whispered. "What if it thinks we are enemies?" Alex shook his head. "I don't think it will. I think it recognizes something in me or in us. Humans may be gone from the galaxy, but the ship remembers. It was built to protect, not destroy, but it can fight if it must." As they explored further, doors opened to reveal more chambers. In one room, rows of dormant human drones lined the walls, small machines that had once served as assistants and protectors. They began to activate, moving smoothly as if the centuries had not passed. In another chamber, a massive engine core thrummed faintly. The room pulsed with energy, glowing softly. Alex reached out to touch the control panel, and the ship responded instantly. Lights flowed along the conduits, and the hum grew stronger. A wave of warmth seemed to pass through him, a reassurance that the ship was not hostile, at least not yet. "This ship," Alex whispered, "it was built to survive, it was built to wait." The team collected data carefully, noting that the ship's power systems were unlike anything in modern human or alien engineering. It used energy in ways that seemed almost magical to their sensors, drawing power from the void, stabilizing itself without fuel, without maintenance. The materials of the hull repaired themselves, reshaping rusted sections into pristine plating almost instantly. "Look at this," one engineer said, pointing to a console. "It's generating shields without power input. The energy is coming from the ship itself." Alex felt a thrill of awe. Human technology was incredible. The ships were not just war machines. They were living entities designed to endure and defend, and this one, it's the last of its kind. As they moved toward the command deck, a faint projection appeared in front of Alex. It was a human-like image, almost a holographic spirit. It spoke not in words, but in feelings. Alex understood without hearing. The ship wanted him to lead it. It recognized him as someone who could command it, guide it, awaken its full potential. The team exchanged uneasy glances. None of them had ever seen anything like this. Alien technology was advanced, yes, but this was something different. It was intelligent, it was alive, it was human. "What do we do now?" Karen asked. Her voice trembled. "Do we just leave it here?" Alex shook his head. "No, we need to understand it first. Then we can decide how to use it. This is not just a ship. It's history, it's humanity's last guardian." As they explored, a warning flashed across one console. Sensors outside the ship detected an approaching alien patrol. They were curious, not hostile, yet. The fleet had noticed the sudden activity, and some ships were moving closer, scanning the derelict warship. "We need to move fast," Alex said. "The Union doesn't know what they're dealing with. If they try to attack, it will not end well for them." The team quickly prepared the ship for emergency protocols. Doors locked, corridors shifted, and the warship systems aligned. Drones moved to defensive positions, but no one fired a weapon. The ship was testing, learning, preparing. Alex could feel it. The warship was alive, aware, and waiting for its purpose. It remembered battles fought long ago, enemies defeated, and a mission that had been paused for centuries. The galaxy had moved on, but the ship had not forgotten. "It's more than just alive," Alex whispered. "It's remembering. It knows what humans were capable of, and maybe, just maybe, it's ready to act again." The team stayed in the ship until the alien patrol moved out of sensor range. The warship systems relaxed slightly, but it did not sleep. Alex knew it would never sleep again, not fully. The moment of awakening had begun, and the ship would not stop until it fulfilled its purpose. As they prepared to leave, Alex felt a bond forming. He did not understand it completely, but he could sense the ship's intentions. It was cautious yet confident. It was patient yet ready. It had waited centuries for the right moment, and now it had found it. "We need to return to the fleet," Alex said. "But not yet. I want to learn more. I need to understand what it can do." The team reluctantly agreed, carrying as much data as they could. The ship allowed them to leave easily, the corridors opening and closing as if in farewell. As the shuttle moved away, Alex turned to look back. The warship shimmered faintly in the distance, silent but alive, powerful beyond imagination, and aware of everything around it. For the first time in centuries, humanity had returned, not in numbers, not in colonies, not in fleets, but in a single ship. A guardian, a warship. A relic, yes, but a living one, and Alex knew, deep in his heart, that this was only the beginning. The warship would remember, it would awaken further, and soon the galaxy would see what humans were truly capable of. As they rejoined the fleet, Alex felt the weight of responsibility. The ship had chosen him, or at least acknowledged him. The next steps would be dangerous, uncertain, and perhaps deadly. But humanity, even in the shadows of history, had a chance to rise again. And the ship waited, patient, powerful, and alive, ready to show the galaxy that the humans were not gone. They were only sleeping, and now they were waking. The fleet drifted quietly near the derelict warship. Captain Alira watched the sensor screens, her brow tight. The energy readings from the ship had grown stronger, far beyond what they had seen during the first boarding. The warship was not just awake, it was alive. Every system pulsed with energy, every panel and console active, yet it showed no aggression. Alex Carter floated inside the shuttle, staring at the ship through reinforced glass. The faint shimmer of its hull seemed to respond to him, almost like it recognized his presence. The earlier connection he felt had only grown stronger. The ship had remembered him, or perhaps remembered what humans were. He did not understand it fully, but he knew it was waiting, watching, learning. "It's moving," Lieutenant Karen said. Her voice trembled. "Not just systems, the hull." "Small adjustments, like it's positioning itself." Alex nodded. "Yes, it's preparing, but not to attack. It's aware of everything. It's choosing what to do next." Suddenly, the derelict warship emitted a low hum. It was soft at first, then grew louder, filling the space around the fleet. The sensors picked up a surge of energy flowing across its surface. Panels reconfigured, and long-dormant weapon systems glowed faintly, ready to deploy. The fleet tensed, unsure what to expect. Alira spoke over the comm. "Prepare shields. Do not fire unless fired upon. Keep scanning but maintain distance." Inside the ship, Alex moved cautiously through the corridors. The central chamber was alive with light. The holographic displays from before had expanded, showing every system in perfect detail. Engines, shields, weapons, navigation, they were all online and more advanced than anything the fleet had ever seen. "This is incredible," Alex whispered. "It's not just a relic. It's a full warship, fully operational, and more than that, it's smart." A faint vibration ran through the deck. The warship's artificial intelligence, long dormant, had fully awakened. It scanned the shuttle and its crew, recognizing their DNA, their origins, their intentions. It understood that Alex was human and that he could guide it. Slowly, the ship began to adjust its systems in response to him, as if listening to his thoughts. "Alex, can you control it?" Karen asked, uncertain. Alex shook his head. "Not yet. It doesn't need me to control it. It's alive, it decides what to do, but it trusts me. I think it wants me to lead it, or at least show it the right path." Outside, the fleet detected sudden movements. The warship's position had shifted slightly, and energy fields flared briefly across its hull. The aliens in the fleet exchanged nervous glances. No ship of this size or age could move like that without fuel. The warship's systems were unlike anything in the galaxy. It drew power from the void itself, reshaping matter and energy to suit its needs. Alex guided his team carefully through the ship. They explored further, discovering more active systems. Weapon banks aligned themselves along the hull, but none fired. The engines hummed in a low tone, a reminder of the power waiting to be unleashed. Drones floated silently, scanning and repairing, obeying no one but the ship itself. "It's beautiful," one engineer whispered. "The design, everything about it is perfect. It's like a living organism." Alex nodded. "It is. Human technology was never just mechanical. It was alive, designed to endure, adapt, and survive. This ship, it is the last of its kind, and it remembers everything." Suddenly, the fleet's sensors detected another alien patrol moving closer. They were curious but not hostile, yet the warship responded instantly. Shields extended in a smooth arc, energy flowing along the hull. Weapons aligned automatically, targeting systems scanning the patrol ships. It did not fire, but the message was clear. The ship was ready. Illyra spoke over the comm. "All ships maintain distance. Do not provoke it. We do not know what it can do." Alex felt a pulse through the deck. The ship was alive, aware of every action. It had seen centuries pass, civilizations rise and fall, and now it was back. The connection between him and the ship deepened. He felt its intentions, its memory, its will. It was cautious but confident, patient but ready. "We need to see what it can do," Alex said. He moved toward the central console. The holographic displays shifted, reacting to his presence. Navigation charts appeared, showing stars, sectors, and systems long forgotten. The ship was alive but also intelligent. It could fight, but it did not need to. It could destroy fleets, but it chose not to. It was a guardian, a sentinel waiting for the right moment. "How do we communicate with it?" Karen asked. She looked at Alex, worried. "Do we need words, signals?" Alex shook his head. "No, it understands more than that. It listens to presence, to intent. It knows we mean no harm. It's human, in a way we cannot explain." The warship pulsed again. Lights flowed along the hull, corridors shifted, doors opened and closed with perfect timing. Drones moved in complex patterns, scanning every inch. Weapon systems aligned but did not fire. Energy flared briefly along the engines, readying for movement. The ship was alive and aware of everything around it. Suddenly, one of the patrol ships fired a warning shot, a standard energy pulse. The beam struck the warship's shields but barely made a mark. The warship responded instantly. A pulse of energy extended outward, disabling the patrol ship's weapons without destroying the vessel. The aliens panicked, realizing this relic was no longer defenseless. "Alex!" Karen shouted. "They attacked!" Alex took a deep breath. The ship pulsed, almost as if acknowledging the threat. But it did not fire offensively. Instead, it demonstrated its power with precision, showing control and intelligence far beyond any alien technology. The patrol retreated, weapons disabled, but the ship allowed them to live. It was a warning, not a massacre. Illyra spoke over the comm. "Alex, report, what is happening?" Alex stared at the glowing hull. "It's alive, it can fight, but it doesn't want to. It's a guardian. It's showing them its power, but not destroying them. It respects life unless threatened." The fleet fell silent. No one had seen anything like this. An ancient human warship, centuries old, fully alive and intelligent, controlling systems beyond comprehension. It had awakened, and it had chosen restraint. Alex guided his team to the command deck. The ship's systems aligned, displaying data that no human or alien had ever seen before. Energy flows, weapon alignments, navigation paths, everything was active and perfect. It was a warship, yes, but also a living entity. "We need to understand it," Alex said quietly. "We need to learn from it. This ship, it remembers humans. It remembers what we were capable of, and maybe it can teach us if we are ready to listen." The warship pulsed again, and Alex felt it respond to him. Lights flowed along corridors, panels shifted, and a low hum filled the deck. It was alive, aware, and learning. It had waited centuries for this moment, and now it had found the right human to guide it. Outside, the fleet watched in awe. The patrol ships had retreated, and the warship's energy pulses were visible across space. It was a relic, yes, but it was alive, powerful, and intelligent. It had awakened, and the galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. Alex stood on the command deck, feeling the weight of responsibility. The ship had chosen him, or at least acknowledged him. It would not fight without reason, but it would defend itself, and the humans it still remembered. The moment of awakening had arrived, and the ship would not rest until it fulfilled its purpose. "We are ready," Alex whispered. "Let them see what humans are capable of." and for the first time in centuries, the human warship moved with purpose. Its engines hummed, its shields glowed, and its weapons aligned, ready to defend, ready to act, ready to show the galaxy that humanity had returned, not in numbers, but in power, intelligence, and resolve. The Relic was alive. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The warship drifted silently at first, then slowly powered up its engines. The hum of energy filled the space around it, pulsing like a heartbeat. Captain Alira watched from her fleet, unable to hide her awe. The ancient human warship was no longer a relic. It was alive, intelligent, and fully awake. Every system moved in harmony, weapons aligned but restrained, shields glowing like a silent warning. Alex Carter stood on the command deck, feeling the connection grow stronger. The ship seemed to respond to him, not through words, but through understanding. It recognized him, his ancestry, and perhaps something deeper. The ship had waited centuries, and now it had chosen him to guide its awakening. "We need to show them," Alex whispered to Karen. "The galaxy needs to know humans are not gone. This ship, it can speak for us." The fleet around them tensed. Alien patrols still hovered nearby, uncertain and wary. Sensors recorded energy fluctuations far beyond anything known. The aliens had expected a rusted, harmless relic. They had not expected life. Alex moved to the central console. Holographic displays lit up, showing sectors of space, routes, and colonies long abandoned. The ship's intelligence began projecting a message. It was not spoken aloud, but clear in the minds of those aboard the shuttle and those near the fleet. Humans were alive. They had survived, hidden, waiting for the right time. The warship was their voice. "Listen," Alex said softly. "We are not extinct. Humanity lives and we remember. We survived to protect, to endure, to reclaim what was ours." The alien fleet reacted instantly. Communications scrambled, sensors focused, and ships backed away slightly. They had never seen anything like this. One of the patrol leaders attempted a hasty transmission, but the warship responded before the signal could leave the area. A pulse of energy extended across space, disabling weapons systems temporarily without harming the vessels. It was a warning, precise and controlled. Alex watched as the ship moved with purpose. Engines flared, shields expanded, and weapon systems aligned automatically. It was powerful, but it did not fire offensively. It had awakened to remind the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated, not to destroy, but to be recognized. "It's incredible," Karen said, almost in awe. "It's showing them its power without hurting anyone." "That's what makes it human," Alex replied. "Humans fight when they must, but we survive because we know when to restrain ourselves. This ship, it remembers what we were." The warship began sending holographic images across long-range sensors. Archives of humanity's history, designs, technology, and achievements appeared before the alien fleets. Systems and innovations lost for centuries now spoke of human ingenuity. The aliens could see the humans had once built fleets capable of changing the course of wars across galaxies. The fleet's captain, Alira, was stunned. "Alex, what are we going to do? They will panic. This could start a war." Alex shook his head. "Not if we show them we mean no harm. This ship is alive, yes, and powerful, but it only wants recognition. It remembers humanity. It remembers what we were. It will defend, but it will not destroy unless provoked." Outside, the aliens started to maneuver carefully. The warship adjusted its shields in response, positioning itself between the shuttle and the nearest patrol. Energy pulses glowed faintly along its hull, a display of power and warning. It was precise, measured, intelligent. Alex felt the bond strengthen. He touched a console, and the ship seemed to respond to his thoughts. Corridors shifted, panels glowed, and systems realigned. It was alive, aware, and learning from him. He realized this was only the beginning. The ship had awakened, but it had more to remember, more to restore, more to show. "We need to tell them about the humans," Alex said. He moved to a terminal and began broadcasting a universal message. In simple, clear signals, the ship communicated, "Humans are alive. Humans survived. Humans remember." The galaxy reacted. Alien fleets paused, patrols halted, and communications channels lit up with confusion and fear. Centuries of history were rewritten in minutes. Humans were not gone. Humans had returned through the last guardian. Inside the warship, drones moved efficiently, preparing the ship for potential threats, but also for long-range communication. Engines stabilized, systems balanced, and weapons remained ready. The ship was alive, aware, and guided by Alex. It was a living testament to humanity's resilience. Alex took a deep breath. "This is what humans do," he said. "We survive even when forgotten, we endure even when the galaxy believes us gone, and we rise again when the time is right." The alien fleets kept their distance, unsure whether to attack, retreat, or communicate. The warship sent waves of information, showing humans' long-lost technologies and accomplishments. The message was clear: humans are not extinct, and any aggression would be met with intelligence, precision, and overwhelming force if necessary. Alex guided the ship carefully. He did not want conflict. He wanted recognition, understanding. The ship seemed to understand him perfectly. It adjusted, communicated, and moved with a grace that was impossible for any normal vessel. "They will listen," Alex said, "or they will learn the hard way." The fleet's sensors showed alien hesitation. Some ships attempted communication, sending questions and requests for explanation. The warship responded, not with fire but with knowledge. Holographic displays projected blueprints, data streams, and evidence of human survival. It was clear the humans had been forgotten, but they were alive. Alex felt a sense of pride and responsibility. The ship had chosen him as its guide, its representative. He understood now why the connection had been so strong. The warship was alive, yes, but it needed humans to remind it of its purpose, to guide it in a galaxy that had moved on. As the message spread, fleets across nearby systems reacted. Historians, commanders, and scientists all paused. The humans were back. The ancient warship, once considered a rusted relic, had awakened to speak for an entire species. "This changes everything," Karen whispered. "The galaxy, it will never see humans the same way again." Alex nodded. "Yes, it will not. We were thought extinct, but we survived. We endured, and now with this ship humanity has returned to the stars." The warship hummed, lights pulsing softly as if acknowledging Alex's words. It had waited centuries, and now it had awakened, powerful, intelligent, and alive. It was not just a ship. It was a guardian, a testament, a reminder of what humans were capable of. Captain Alira spoke over the comm. "Alex, what now?" Alex looked at the glowing panels, the humming corridors, the drones moving efficiently. He felt the ship's presence in his mind, its heartbeat in sync with his own. "Now," he said, "we show them who humans are, we survive, we endure, and we rise again." The alien fleets held their positions. The message was clear: humans were alive. The warship, once forgotten, had awakened. It would defend, communicate, and assert humanity's presence in the galaxy. Alex moved to the observation deck and stared at the stars. He felt the power and knowledge of centuries flowing through the ship. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once. It would not make that mistake again. The warship shifted slightly, engines flaring softly, shields pulsing, systems alive and aware. It had remembered humanity, and it had found its purpose. Alex knew this was only the beginning. The ship would travel, communicate, and awaken more humans if they survived elsewhere. It would protect, endure, and remind the galaxy of humanity's strength. And as he looked out into the vast, star-filled void, Alex felt hope, pride, and determination. The humans were back. The warship was alive. The galaxy had been warned. The relic was no longer rusted. It was a living symbol of human resilience, power, and intelligence. Centuries of history had waited for this moment. And now humanity had returned, guided by one of its own, in a warship that was alive. And the galaxy would never forget the name of the humans again. They wrote it off as a rusted relic until the human warship came alive.